ReCore is a new Xbox One and PC game developed by Armature Studios and produced by Kenji and Inafune. Armature Studios is a team made up of old developers that worked on Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, and Kenji and Inafune is the creator of the Mega Man series and the not so well received Mighty No. 9 game. The game was released this week for $40 as part of Xbox's new Play Anywhere program. This means that when you buy the game digitally on your Xbox One, you get a free copy for your PC, and you could share the game saves between the PC and the Xbox One. It's a pretty good value for any video game in general. You essentially get 2 copies of a video game for the price of 1. But never mind the bundle, let's talk about the video game. ReCore is a third-person action-adventure shooter that takes place in a dystopian future. In this future, Earth has been destroyed and humans have come to the planet Far Eden in hopes of terraforming it, or rather make the planet as close to Earth as possible with the help of some robots. You play as Jewel Adams, a volunteer for the project who was in cryosleep on Far Eden. She was supposed to wake up once the terraforming was complete. However, she was awakened centuries after the project was started, only to find that the terraforming project was stopped midway, and that the ship she was asleep in was destroyed. Now it's up to her and her robot companion Mac to find out what happened to the terraforming project and the rest of the humans like her father. Gameplay-wise, ReCore is essentially a combination of platforming and shooting combat. Jewel has access to a rifle that can change different colors. As the player, you can switch these colors to coordinate with enemy robots you face. For example, if you fire a red bullet at a blue robot, you'll do minimal damage. However, if you color coordinate correctly, shooting a red bullet at a red enemy will critically hurt it. The game uses an auto-aim system to lock onto enemies, which is pretty useful considering that you'll usually find a ton of enemies coming after you at once. You can also create charge shots that use more of your ammo gauge, but also do more damage in return. Your robot companion Mac will also help you out during fights. He helps you out by tackling enemies with a push of a button. You're not just limited to Mac either. You will meet new robot companions throughout the game that will color coordinate to other enemies just like your rifle. They also come in handy during the platforming parts of the game too. For example, there's one robot named Seth who will help you navigate up walls and rails to get you up to higher platforms. Jewel's platforming can be broken down to a double jump and a dash boost. Using these two in combination, you'll platform through dungeons while trying to avoid all the pitfall deaths around you. ReCore actually does a really great job with the platforming. Everything feels solid and is actually reminiscent of classic PS2 platformers like Jak and Daxter. It's definitely one of my favorite platforming games this generation. The combat can get pretty hectic at times, but it also adds a sort of arcade-like feeling to the shootout sections that is actually pretty fun. In terms of gameplay, ReCore is fun and a solid game, and I'd recommend it to you if it weren't for all the bugs it had. On Xbox One, ReCore really struggles to run properly, and it's confusing as to why because ReCore is in no way a technical masterpiece. It really just looks like an old PS3 or 360 game. The game struggles to reach 30 frames per second on the Xbox One, and it drops to the low 20 frames per second anytime something hectic happens on the screen. Not only that, but the game is riddled with rendering issues and long loading screens. When entering a dungeon or a new section of the game, you'll be greeted with a loading screen that can easily take about a minute to load. That's not even the worst of it. There were times where rooms and sections of a dungeon would simply just not load or render. If you follow me on Twitter, I tweeted out this video of me playing the game where Jewel's hair simply just disappeared along with much of the floor and the roof of the dungeon I was in. I had to restart my Xbox One and reload from a save to get it to work again. This was one of the worst case scenarios. Other times mountains and shadows would simply just not render until I was just a few feet away from them. It gets really bad. On PC, things are a little bit better. The frame rate issues are pretty much gone and the loading times are cut in half, but some of the rendering issues are still there. This goes to show that it's simply a bad designed game or poorly optimized, not having to do with the power of the Xbox One at all. Graphically speaking, it's not a pretty game on PC either. Having it set to max settings still has it look like a last generation game, but that doesn't really bother me as long as the gameplay is fun and the game runs well. And so the gameplay is fun, but the game struggles too much with technical issues for me to recommend it at the moment. If you're on Xbox One right now, I'd recommend skipping out on this game. It is a fun and solid experience, but on Xbox One as a platform, it just doesn't run well right now, and unless they update it or patch it sometime soon, I don't recommend checking this game out if you're solely on Xbox One. If you're on PC, it runs better on PC, and the game is pretty fun still. It only costs $40, so it's not that bad of a price, but if you're not eagerly waiting to play this game, then you might be better off waiting for a price drop. Thank you all very much for watching my review. If you do have any questions about the game or the review, feel free to ask me in the comment section below or on Twitter for a much faster response. If you enjoy my content and this video, consider dropping a like below, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing to be notified whenever I release more content like this. Thank you all very much for watching and being some awesome viewers, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye guys.